Well, my beautiful thing is like, I have to say, it's allowed ever since we've talked, right? Like ever since we've met, ever since we've been able to communicate, there's a natural presence that allows my power to come out because of your power. So you've been able to, like, my amplified intelligence, my energy, like, and you know what I'm talking about. I don't know if I can explain it, but you know what I'm saying is like, because you can hold the space, I can express it. And I've learned how to do that because of great mirrors like you. And it fascinates me because now when somebody is so in their own confidence, right, and they know their power, they allow anybody to express themselves. The people that don't know their power, they actually try to shut others down or push push them down. The people that know of like infinite possibilities are encouraging for people to rise. And that to me was the greatest identifier of us spending time together. Every time it's been flow. It's been this natural flow, because the flow is like infinite, right? And if we can see that in ourselves, we can see that in one another. And I think that that's the greatest thing of tapping into ourselves, is then we can allow others to tap into that infinite intelligence themselves, so they can fully express themselves without apologies, and have the audacity to really know that what they're doing and how they're shaping themselves is actually their legendary skills, because nobody has been to the creative spectrum that we've been to ourselves. And so it's our duty, it's our bravery, it's our courage that needs to come out by having these amazing mirrors around us, so that we can actually create it together. So thank you.
Hey everybody, it's Eric Balance coming to you with the Resilient Minds podcast, where I feature beautiful entrepreneurs, thought leaders, and experts in their field, where they help us discover their X factor, their experience of life, only to discover how they were able to accomplish and find out their why factor, their big why, their purpose in life. So join me as we get to discover the beauty of our minds and how can we really continue to go after the biggest and most wildest dreams while we continue to pursue and manifest our greatest intelligence that comes from the heart. Also, if you haven't, go check out the new alignment course that I've created at www.ericbalance.com/alignment, ALIGNMENT. See you on the show.
Welcome everybody to the Resilient Minds podcast. I'm excited and I'm super pumped today because, you know, I had a notification a few days ago about this amazing, wonderful woman that really brought so much energy and life into just my existence. And I have to say, today we get to finally meet Niurka. Thank you for being here. Thank you for your passion in life. Thank you for just being such a dear friend. And even after so many years, like not being like communicating in person, but communicating in the astral realms, and then really coming here to life to manifesting this moment. I just want to say it's so good to see you. Thank you for being here.
Oh, it's so good to see you. And it's so good to be here with everybody. And I love your enthusiasm. And you're just like brimming with enthusiasm and brimming with energy. And I know that we're going to have a powerful conversation here today that is going to be meaningful for every single person that's present, to be even more aligned with who you are and your unique purpose, your unique talents, your unique gifts, and how to bring that into reality, how to bring your grand vision into manifestation.
I think that this is so beautiful because you're having an event showing up here next week, right? And it's manifesting your vision, which I'm really excited for you to talk more about. And really how you've actually done that over the years for yourself, cultivated that awareness within, and then really set those that intention and attentions to drive your energy and pass that on through everybody else so that they can also achieve that, which I can say personally has been for me, a realization at the beginning of my journey where we were able to like really connect multiple times. And it was like, and then we went to Bali and did some like really beautiful sacred adventure, which I know you just came back from. So tell me about what has happened over the last few years, and what's this manifesting vision looking like for the people that are like, what do you mean, like, what, I can manifest my vision? That's possible? Like,
Totally.
I want to know.
Totally. And yes, we do have an event and we're going to invite everybody to come as our guests. And before we get into those details, it's like, what does that even mean to manifest your vision? And my greatest joy is seeing people in our community like you, so many people that have transformed their lives and literally changed their results, changed their life, changed their quality of life, changed in so many different areas, their health and vitality, their relationships, their business, to be a business that is fulfilling and meaningful and creates success and results, not only for them, for the clients that they serve, the people in their lives, their community, every single area of life. So for me, it really started at a young age where I was very frustrated with my life. And I was looking at my results and I knew inside that I was destined for more than what was showing up. But I didn't know how at the time. I didn't have any mentors. I didn't have any guides. So I really started searching at a young age and asking very deep questions like, who am I and what is my purpose? And what is, what do I really want my life to look like? Which was way different than the reality that I was experiencing. And I started conceiving of the life that I intended to create, like this magnificent life that was meaningful, that was purposeful, that was fulfilling, that had success and had abundance and had prosperity and had contribution. And, that was not my reality growing up. So the vision was what sparked, it was like the seed, right? That was planted and then nourished, that then, created a massive breakthrough. And by the time I was 19 years old, I had the honor of, and I know you've done a lot of work with Tony. I had the honor of going on the road and working side by side with Tony Robbins. And I became his top trainer and I broke all the records that the company had. And that was like a big deal because I didn't come from that place growing up. And then in the year 2000, I can't believe it's been 23 years since I've started my own company. Can you imagine? That's almost like a quarter of a century. I'm like, whoa, that's a lot of time. And it began again with a vision. So if you're in a place right now and you're listening where you know that there's another level for you and you might not know why, or you're looking at your life and you're frustrated, and there's another level of health and contribution and wealth and success, whatever that means to you, because it's different for all of us. We're here to give you insights, support, distinctions to clarify. That's the first step, is really clarifying your vision. And sometimes what's cool about working with somebody is they see it within you before you see it in yourself. You know what I mean? It's like, I remember the first time we met and it was at an event, right? It was one of those, I was on tour with Power of Success and you were at this event. And I remember the first time I met you, Eric, it's like you were so brimming with enthusiasm and commitment and devotion. And you knew inside of you that you had this unique purpose and gift, but you hadn't really found what that expression of it was just yet. And I remember seeing your devotion and feeling, not just seeing it, feeling your devotion. And I remember saying things to you about, I'm going to turn it over to you and let you talk a little bit about that, but it's like seeing the unique gift you have.
Listen, I was fascinated because Niurka, like when and I don't even understand sometimes, like you feel and yourself, but then there's like this awareness that isn't really comprehending at the time, right? And I remember you came and you said to me, Eric, like, I'm so excited for what you're going to create. And I remember looking at you with this like I don't even know what I'm creating myself. Like, how can you see that if I'm uncertain still? And it's so fascinating because now I get it. Like, now it makes so much sense because we get to create whatever we want. And I think that from a paradigm where we believe for such a long period of time that we are conditioned by the external world and what it really needs to facilitate for us, and knowing that that's may or may not be possible, when we start taking responsibility of ourselves and we step into this absolute certainty to knowing that we can really transform certainty in a whole room all around us consistently wherever we go in any environment and deliver absolute change. To me, that became like fascinating because I needed to see that by going to I literally needed to go all over the world to make sure that certainty is there. I had to go into like different continents, different religious beliefs, different understandings, different societal constructs, different ways of looking at the world to know that, to know with absolute certainty that I could change my environment from here. And that was an anchor. I think that everything started to come back. And then as a result of you really giving me these questions, these curiosities, and, you know, learning from other great teachers along the road, I started seeing the teacher in everybody. And that became the greatest gift. That became the greatest gift of identifying and seeing our opportunity of learning from every person that we meet. It gave me a knowing, like that innocence, you know, and that like that childlike knowing that I just want to know more about you, because I know that what's coming through you is being delivered through you so that I can see it and learn from it. And I think that if a lot of us start recognizing the world from that perspective, we really get to tap into the most magical experience, and we get to learn all the time, and it becomes exciting. So thank you for bringing this type of enthusiasm out of me by seeing me, because now I realize that by looking back, what you saw in me was really what I saw in you was really us just reflecting. And today I have so much gratitude for just being able to have the courage to go down that path. And so thank you.
It's my greatest joy. So it's a joy, it's an honor. And one of the things that I'm reminded of so clearly as you're sharing that is how every single person has a gift. Every single person who's like watching right now, you have a unique gift that nobody on this planet has, okay? And I believe that one of the greatest tragedies in life is for someone to die without tapping in and expressing the fullness of their unique talents and gifts, to allow doubt or fear to block their life's purpose, their unique expression. So one of my greatest joys, and I would say one of my superpowers, is really being able to see through all the, insecurities that sometimes people have, that, I had for sure growing up, because we grow up in this world where many of us don't have the conditions around us that recognize the unique brilliance that each one of us has, our unique expression. So I'm fired up. I'm like fired up, committed, devoted to serve in a way that inspires people to break free of these limitations that block their creativity, that block their creative power. And then to clarify vision. That is so huge. There's a great book that says without vision, people perish. And I mean, it's like when you don't have vision, you just end up, going through the motions of life. You end up having other people that have vision kind of like bring you into their agenda, which may or may not be in alignment with your true purpose. Okay, so one of the things, and I'm going to mention it now, and then we could talk about it later, but I want everybody to know that we do have an event that's coming up, and it's March 9th through the 11th, and it's free. It's a gift from Eric and I to you to come to clarify the height of your vision and all the areas of your life that are important to you. And then how do you manifest that? It's like, what does that even mean? It means you bring it out of the realm of ideas into tangible reality. It means that you begin to conceive and begin to have the clear intention of the life that you want to live, the quality of life, the creations. And that's what I said to you. It's like, I'm excited to see your creations, because I could see how devoted you've been from the moment we've met to like I could almost like see you breaking free of that and like, bam, bringing creations into the world. So we'll drop the link in for everybody. It's niurkainc.com, which is my website /manifest. NIURKAINC /manifest. And you could come on in. It's going to be a 3-day challenge. And why do I call it a challenge? Because we're challenging you in the most loving way to get clear on this vision and then embody the actions that are important to take, to not just talk about it, to have it happen, and to be open to the miracle of life, to have it happen even greater than you could imagine. I can't tell you how many times I've had a clear intention and I show up and it manifests even greater than I can imagine. And one example of that is Bali. You went with me and we took a group of, it was like 50 people that, I took to Bali in 2019. And then we took another group just this last year. And it was interesting because I never thought that I was going to take a group around the world to Bali, Indonesia. I mean, that was quite a mission. But what was it that inspired that creation is that I had gone for my own personal journey, my own spiritual adventure. And then it was the advanced people in our community that had gone through all of our other courses, and they are leaders on the frontier in their own unique fields and expression. And they were like, okay, Niurka, what's the next level? It was like, you guys are challenging me to go, what's the next level of this? And I sat in my meditation and I go, okay, well, what is one of the most beautiful experiences that I could possibly create for, those who are just so committed? And Bali was the inspiration. I got to tell you, it was one of the highlights of so many of the things that I've been blessed to create. So I'm grateful that you came with us and the amazing group of, beautiful people and that ultimate adventure, which I don't know about you. For me, I would say it's a memory of a lifetime, a memory I will cherish for a lifetime.
100%. I have to say that the walk down on the steps or the walk up to the temple, it was such a spiritual, every moment is a spiritual experience in my life today. And I really always say, life is an altar and each moment is a prayer. And I really, for me, that experience that we went early in the morning, up to the top of the temple, I don't remember the name, Lempayang temple, was it?
Yeah, what it was we under the light of the full moon in the middle of the night, dressed in custom ceremonial clothes, we embarked on the ultimate adventure, pilgrimage up to the top of this temple, carrying offerings. And we arrived, and it was like we arrived in divine timing as the sun was rising and we were emerging. And, we had meditation and we had prayer in this sacred moment in eternity. And then I remember the high priest, they had bamboo trees up there on the top of this temple on this mountain, Mount Lempuyang, and they cut down the bamboo trees for us. And it was the holy water blessing that they gave us, which is a big, big deal, is, the power of the holy waters. And then they gave us that holy water in this very special container for holy water. And you, Eric, I remember your devotion. You were like, I will carry that holy water down to the bottom of the temple because
we passed it to me. He passed it to me. He was like, here. And it was like a devotion that I didn't even have to say anything. He felt it, like the commitment was like here. And that was like, because he felt my energy. I didn't even have to, it was like expression already created, and he felt the energy transfer. It was magical.
And then we had the people at the bottom. We had those of the part of our group that, for whatever reasons, health-wise, physicality, they couldn't make the ascent. So they were meeting us in the temple that was, just the lower temple from where we were. And you received that precious gift. And I remember you carrying it all the way down, with such devotion and care, with like not spilling a drop of this holy water to the
rain.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about that pouring rain. It was pouring rain, and it was a magical experience. And then the group that was waiting at the bottom to receive this blessing.
Very emotional for me, that receiving part, when we got to the bottom and like feeling everybody's love and energy and kindness, like waiting for us. I remember I started crying. It was like I'm even getting tears in my eyes. I loved it, like the feeling of just family. This is like
totally.
It was so special. It's
and I want to acknowledge your commitment and your trust to come, because I remember in the beginning where I was like, Eric, come, we're going to Bali. And you were like, oh, like I want to come, but you weren't 100% right in the beginning. And you stepped forward in faith and you made the decision. And I think that's a big point for us to really emphasize for a lot of people, because a lot of times we want something in life and then we have that moment of choice. And in that moment of choice, it's almost like, oh my goodness, I want to come, or I'm not sure. And then all of these ideas of the world come up, and, the finances, the money, the time, the blah, 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 blah. And when we can tune into our heart, like I know you do, and how you live, and tune into our soul and really ask ourselves, like, what is the highest choice right here, right now, based on who I am, based on who I'm committed to be and to become on this infinite journey, this never ending journey of becoming, right? And that you can trust your highest intuitive wisdom, trust, the messages from your soul, and say yes, even when the mind has fear, right? And we show up. This is a place of breakthrough. This is a place of miracles. This is a place of manifestation. So if you're in a place right now and you're listening where it's like you want to move forward, but there's like these thoughts of doubt or fear or, oh my goodness, or whatever that may be, you're in a defining moment. You're in a defining moment that, they call it the bardo, which is the intermediary stage between one level of consciousness and the quantum leap into the next. So, realize that and step forward in faith with your head and your heart aligned with your highest purpose, and miracles will happen.
So everybody that's listening, this woman is really, she puts it into such great words, and the way that she really cares and the way that she really structures it. It really is something special. And I have to say, like, without you and Tony, I wouldn't be here where I am. Like, I wouldn't have seen what I see. I wouldn't understand. I wouldn't identify. And I have to say, like, the logical perspective that you've put together, and the way that you can break down the ways of perspective, it gives, it's like a human communication ayahuasca journey. Okay. And if people really know and are willing to tap into the level, because communication is the thing, like I've learned from yourself and Tony how to really define the most important part of language. And it's what inspired me to continue going, like, because I didn't want anything outside of me to help me realize that I can continue to ground this energy. I wanted to do it based off my own. I needed to understand it. And you guys gave me the framework, the understanding, the awareness. Like, I have to say, like, there's, in my perspective. There's nobody out there that does it better. There's nobody out there that is able to create, Aristotle talked about, the ethos, pathos, logos. So how can we really enhance, the logic, the emotion, and the ethics together to really step into the higher self? And if we can identify and break that down, break our ego down, the persona of melting that away, and really allow our logic to break down that wall that's trying to protect us is the same one that's imprisoning us. And so instead, allowing the emotional intelligence to really comprehend by stepping into the highest standard of excellence, which is our principles, our values, and really
our identity, our highest identity.
Thank you.
Yes, our identity, our true purpose. Yes. Our ultimate purpose, our ultimate vision. And I will share with you, one of the most powerful things is having that sacred reflection. You talked about it, having a sacred reflection. And we all have times where we, receive the mentor and then become the mentor. You know what I mean? And that dance is a sacred dance. And, Joseph Campbell talked about the hero's journey. And I think it's such a beautiful body of work, because when we really look at all of the, greatest movies of all time, right? The Lord of the Rings and the Star Wars. And, one of my favorite cartoons is like Kung Fu Panda, right? It's like, there is a journey. And why do we connect so much to these films? Why do we watch Star Wars and we feel this visceral connection? It's because the underlying theme of the story is the story and the expression of our own lives. We are the hero of our own journey, and we embark on this adventure. And on this adventure, we all experience trials and tribulations and challenges and loss and pain and insecurity and doubt, right? And then what happens on this journey is we come into the space, especially as you move through with devotion, where the mentor arrives, and where are you on your journey of evolution? How beautiful it is to receive that, knowing that as you receive it and you have your own breakthroughs through that, you're going to become that for someone else. I mean, this is the journey of evolution. And this is why I'm so excited. I mean, we have so many powerful coaches and leaders and experts and, that are on the frontier of their field, who are in our community, that have gone through this great work. And I am so blessed to have met them in that time, because I've had those moments where someone met me in those times, so having those moments of reflection, and then having and allowing yourself to be open. I love that you said, the same thing that protects us can imprison us. A lot of times we live in a world that can be very cynical, like, oh my gosh, what do you want from me type of a thing. Well, guess what? I just want to serve you. I just want to support you. I just want to lift you up from the rooftops. And there could be some cynicism around that because of the conditions of the world. But when we come into a place where we allow ourselves to be seen, allow ourselves to be seen, and we show up with an open heart and we show up with devotion, it creates a space for massive, massive breakthroughs. Okay, because we all have a unique purpose and contribution. And it's not something you find. It's not like you just look under a rock. It's like, oh my gosh, there's my purpose. Or I go to a particular place and there it is. It's an evolutionary journey of discovery. Truly. And also it's a defining where you can recognize, these are the things I value. This is what's most important to me. This is what I feel drawn towards. And you declare, this is who I am. This is what is most important to me. And this is what I'm creating in this moment, which will evolve. So
I'm curious, because this is something very fascinating. And I find that, as I've gone on my own journey, people, again, in different areas, different maps of the world, have really challenged me. And with the space where, you devote yourself and you're doing this with absolute certainty, and then the outside world is telling you how you're doing this wrong, it's not the right way, people are judging you, people are telling you, how important is it for you to have that trust in yourself? For anybody out there that's listening right now that really feels something and they're like, but what if this person says something, or what if my parents say something, or what if like my community tells me this? Like, how important, Ralph Waldo Emerson, trust in thyself, right?
Totally.
Like, how important is that for what you are bringing into the world? And as like these, especially with these leaders at the forefront of their communities and nations and organizations, right? You're spending a lot of time. How important is it for people to identify that level of identity, that, hey, you actually are the final word. You are the one that gets to decide. You are the one that actually doesn't need anyone else to tell you what you need to do.
Two words come to mind. One is essential and imperative. Okay. So essential is that it is essential for you to have that inner knowing of who you are, what is most important to you in life, what is truly your purpose. And imperative, when I think of the word imperative, the origin or the etymology of the word imperative is to set in order, for you to set your life in order. Now, simultaneously, with that being said, there is value in feedback from the right people. Okay, from the right people. You got to be mindful of who you even share some of these, intentions or creations with, because there are going to be some people I don't want opinions. And I don't want like advice from certain people. I do want authentic feedback from someone that I can admire and respect in a certain context, that can give me reflection, sometimes that I may not have within myself. In 2016, I realized that my business had kind of plateaued. And I wasn't sure what was going on. I was like, wow, I was inspired to really take it to the next level, but there was something that I wasn't seeing. And I trusted my purpose and my vision of what I was bringing in, but there was something that was blocking. And in that moment, it was important for me to get feedback, not from just, people that thought they had great opinions and ideas, but from somebody who had mastery in the area that I was feeling a block. So one is being very selective. And not listening to the opinions of the world, but being selective to align with true confidants. Someone that cares about you. They care about you expressing the heights that you're destined for. And they have knowledge and wisdom of the ages or of this lifetime even that perhaps you didn't have. And for me, and trusting your intuition, like for me, I started receiving this intuitive voice that was literally saying to me, call Sam. And I was like, okay, and Sam is somebody who I knew in my early 20s and I had lost touch with. And, you talked about Tony, he was the CEO, general counsel, and the gentleman that ran all of Tony's companies for 20 some odd years. And my intuition was saying to pick up the phone and call him and ask for his reflection, ask for his, support. And I listened to that inner call. So my intuition, my higher self was giving me a reflection that, hey, it was important for you to call someone to get that reflection. And sure enough, I gave him a call. He was very happy to hear from me. We reconnected after all these years. And I opened my business model to him. I literally opened my financials. I opened my books. I opened everything and said, here it is, share with me. So there was trust there. There was vulnerability, there was trust, there was openness. I mean, this is the power of finding a coach, but having a real coach. I think right now there's so many people who are out there coaching who are just not qualified to be in that position. And it's so important to make sure that you're choosing someone who cares, who loves you, and who is qualified to give you that level of reflection. And he gave me some profound insights that I didn't even realize that were like financial constructs and financial models and structures of fulfillment to ensure that the vision was coming into manifestation through these structures of fulfillment. And I will share with you, within a short period of time, my business Quantum Leap, that's how I came to Canada. I came to Canada and I ended up meeting you because Sam, who I hadn't talked to in decades, picked up the phone and called Salim, who was the biggest promoter in all of Canada, and opened a door of opportunity. And now look, years later, we're having this conversation because I trusted my intuition and made the call. So
Wow.
it's both. It's both to know yourself that, yes, you are that final word, but do not think that you need to figure this out on your own, because you will end up kind of circling around. And there are people, as long as their heart and their head is in the right place, there are people that can bring a reflection to you that you would not have on your own. You just got to be selective and clear with who those people are, because there are few of them. There's, in my experience, it's not like they're all over the place. There's more people that want to give you their opinion than those that can give you true, brilliant insight and awareness. And here's the other thing, is if someone can give you that brilliant insight, it may not be in every area of your life. It might be very context specific. Like this person could give you insight on your financials, where this other person could give you insight on your health and vitality. So like I have confidants, dearest friends, many that I've had for decades, who I call upon for different purposes. At the end of the day, I trust my highest intuitive wisdom to make the decision, you know? So
this is beautiful, because, you know, having that group of amazing people around you, of having, you know, people in different areas that are really, it gives that ideology of saying, hey, even though you may be the final word of your own destiny, right? Getting curious about the people that are aligned and have those high levels of value and principles and have been through that. That's what gives that immersion of like coming together and bringing actually your focus, your role in this physical space, that much more confidence, like you said, and success. Because like I you know, I realize I don't know anything, right? I realize like I don't know anything. I just want to be around the people that know way more than me. And I know that I can find solutions, right? So how can we do that together, right? How can we really cultivate that together from people that have the different levels of intelligence, that are also really focused on their clear role? And then as a result, really coming together to navigate. Because I always say, hey, we have all the tools, we have all the technology, we have all the systems, we have everything in place to find the solutions. What we just need is the right leadership to be together, right?
And to understand truly what's most important to you, because then you have that, you know, who are you? It's like, if you could answer the most important question to answer, I would venture to say in this life, is who am I? And I'm not just talking like some existential like crisis that somebody goes into, but like knowing yourself, because then you can have those conversations that we're talking about, Eric, and you have your own, is this truly in alignment? You know, so these confidants that I have, it's not like every single thing they say is totally in sync, but the things that do resonate at a deep level are often things that I did not see.
Yeah.
And being open and having those, and I'm sharing with you, it's like I could count, I have several of, you know, I could probably count them in two hands, my closest confidants. And I say two because I've been blessed. It's not five. I've got confidants in different areas. I've got at least, you know, 10 go-to people for different purposes that I go to for reflection. And at the end of the day, it's like trusting, you know, I could feel it inside. It's a visceral feeling. Is this an alignment? And usually what I feel is expansion rather than contraction. And that kinesthetic awareness is huge. And then what happens is that as you have these breakthroughs, you want to share, you want to give, you want other people to be blessed with what you've been blessed with. You know, that's why we created this event that's happening next week, because it's like you have these experiences, you go, wow, what if everybody was living the heights of their vision? What would our world look like? What would it be like? It'd be like we'd be creating heaven on earth over here, and not like some foo-foo new agey idea. It would truly be that way. Each person would be fully activated in their creative expression and bringing their gifts into the world powerfully with love. I'm not talking about some like foo-foo idea. It's possible. So here we are on the frontier speaking these conversations in a world that negates a lot of that. And I look at some of the kids right now that are growing up in this world. They're growing up in a very different world than the world we grew up in. I mean, you're having kids right now that are questioning their own identity. Someone sent me an article a couple of days ago about, a group, and it was a vast group of young people that they had done studies on who had gone through changing their gender through surgery and then regretted it. I was like, oh my gosh, like there was an influence that was happening that caused them to believe something, that they went through this action. Now they're on the other side of this action and they're feeling that they regret the choice they make because why? They were not clear on identity. You know what I mean? So I think that right now, these conversations are imperative. And I'm thrilled that you are consistently having them. I have so much respect for what you're doing because you're consistently out there. You're bringing your light. You're bringing your gift. When you're challenged, you're talking about the challenge and how to move through it. So we're here to serve. If you're listening right now, Eric is here to serve you. I am here to serve you. We know that you have a unique gift and ultimate destiny. I say the ultimate destiny, like you have arrived on this planet for some purpose. Okay. And it would be our joy and our honor to support you on this path. So I'm going to mention the link one more time and then you can drop it in there. It's like, come and be a part of this event. It's going to be an hour of power every day. It's my gift to you. There's VIP upgrades, and things of that nature. But the most important thing is to show up and allow us to serve you at the highest level and give you what has been a lifetime invested to bring us to this moment, to this conversation. So niurkainc.com/manifest.
And I'll have the link prepared. I wanted to touch on what you said about heaven on earth, because I think that this event was actually helping people identify their heaven inside their hearts. And as a result, by you going to this event and getting clear on this heaven within you, you'll start seeing the world from this perspective. You'll start stepping into that paradigm and you'll start recognizing that everywhere you look is already heaven. You just have to do the work on yourself. You just have to be willing and strong enough and courageous enough to ask yourself, is it worth it? And you know what? You have somebody here that is going to guide you and take you through the process and illuminate that path in a clear way that is going to give you the certainty of knowing that, hey, there is no other option but for you to follow your heart. When you follow that heart, you will come out on the other side and feel so fulfilled, so excited, so in certainty, because now not only do you have the tools to make those realities come true, but then you have a group of confidants around you to implement them. And this is something that is the most profound experience. So really check it out, really take the time, take the energy to commit something. Commit your energy, commit your essence. Know that there is something greater here, because what I'm loving, Niurka, is that your commitment over these last decades, it's passed on to me. Like I feel it, you know what I mean? Like it's so real, it's so certain. And so, we rise together, like that old saying is like a rising tide raises all boats, right? And I really am excited because I'm learning every day. And I was very curious from the most important thing, and having a confidant like yourself around me was what gave me that certainty, even in the times of struggle where I failed and successfully failed and saw the lesson in it because I didn't go back. I just shared it openly, vulnerably. And now I'm in this place of absolute, like, we attracted each other back into each other's lives because of all of that. So this is something I think that more people, if they just have the audacity to say, hey, you know, we're all doing the best we can. And now you can have somebody that will guide you along that path, and it'll give you that extra certainty in knowing that you're not alone.
That is so powerful to know that we really are not alone. Okay. You can spend time alone and that can be a fact, but who you are is not alone when you just open yourself, allow yourself and be, you know, it's also, what are the places that you open yourself? There's certain places that are not going to be in resonance to call forth the highest within you, and having that awareness and these distinctions are so important. And what you bring into the world in each moment. You know, I just did a podcast the other day with a friend of mine, and what we talked about was that we're always creating impact, that there's never a time where we're not creating impact. Like you could go to the coffee shop and you could be talking to the person right in front of you, and in that moment you're creating an impact. And sometimes you don't even realize the impact you're creating until years later. You might not even realize it at all, because that person may not, you know, you could have done the most thing that would have seemed insignificant to you, but in the life of another person, it was like the ultimate light, the ultimate miracle. And, you know, you could have a connection with that person at the coffee shop, and as a result of the connection they had with you, they go home and they're kinder to their child, and they're more connected with their, you know, their spouse or their significant other because of that moment. So each one of us has the power to, a lot of people pray for miracles, right? We have the power to be the miracle. You know, I just got back from a month in Europe. I spent a month in Europe, and my intention, I go to places with clear intention. So yes, I have the intention of, here's the most important areas of my life, and this is what I'm manifesting in these areas, and I'm clear on that, and I'm open to infinite possibility, and I'm open to showing up even greater than I can imagine, and all of this. So there was that intention. My other intention, which was my focal intention, was to be the miracle and to receive the miracle. And when we show up in that way, it's like there is a higher consciousness that is within us, that is us, that is allowed to flow through unobstructed. Mm-hmm. And I'll give you one example. It's like, I was like, okay, I'm open to being the miracle. I know there's people praying for the miracle. May I be the miracle, and may I receive the miracle, right? So I was about to do a photo shoot, and my team vetted all these photographers in Europe in this location that I was, and sent me all these portfolios for, you know, me to look through these photographers to pick the one that I was going to choose for the photo shoot. And normally my process is, okay, let me vet these people and let me see which pictures are the best. And I like to make sure it's at a high level of excellence and all of this, right? But when I received this list of the different photographers they had chosen, it was almost like there was a spotlight on this one particular person. And I didn't go through my usual process. I just trusted my intuition. That's a big piece too. I trusted my intuition. That's the one. It's supposed to be this person right here. And I met this person for the photo shoot. It was a brilliant photo shoot. It was heartfelt, totally on point. And then at the end, it was like there was this conversation. And the conversation was, I needed this today. I could barely get out of bed. And I'm like, really, what's happening? You know? Without getting into, well, actually, I'll you know, keeping it confidential, but sharing with you the essence of the story. This person was navigating grief, deep grief, deep loss. And I'm like, okay, well, share with me what's going on. And her child was being flown. The ashes of her child were being flown to her that day. And she had been going through this process of deep grief. And in that moment, we embraced and we hugged, and it was like she had been praying for a sign, praying for a miracle, praying for a new realization to, you know, to be liberated of the density of the grief that was just collapsing her being. And in that moment, it's like we had that sacred reflection, and it was the first opening. It was a miracle. It was a point of a miracle. It was the divine working through me, as me, in her, in this sacred reflection. And we all have the power to open ourselves to be that. And those are the deepest moments. Like when you have those moments, how many of you know what I'm talking about? Put something in the comments wherever we are on this podcast. Is like where we have, you know, where we show up in a way that is so meaningful and so rich and so deep And it's not that chit chat conversation. It's like, it's depth. It's like the divine right here, right now. And it brings a level of meaning and understanding to even the most, challenging moments that we can't even begin to understand. And so many possibilities emerged from that place. And I gave her a gift and said, well, I'd love to gift you my Neogenesis course. And then she told me a story that was, about Bob Proctor, actually, how it opened a door. And I go, my gosh, Bob, it was like a year to the day that, or whatever time it was to the day that Bob had left his body. And I'm like, I got a message from Bob on my phone. So it's like the synchronicity of things started becoming out, Deepak calls it synchrodestiny. This synchrodestiny where we can see how these moments in our life bring us to this moment. And there's meaning there. There's purpose there. There's a higher intention there. So I'm here to just share with everyone, if you've been praying for a miracle in some way, shape, or form, if you've been praying for healing, if you've been praying for, success, but not just like success where you say in the eyes of the world, the more, bigger, better. I'm talking like a level of meaningful alignment that creates an abundant, prosperous life that is true to you. We're here to serve you with this and show up. Okay. Don't have an invitation come up. And then it's like, you don't say yes to the call. I've had times in my life where I've had I call it a divine appointment. And maybe I didn't say yes to that divine appointment. I've done that where I haven't said yes. And now it's like, I live in a world and I live in a life where I can consistently remind myself to say yes to the call, to say yes to that divine appointment, to say yes to the invitation, so you're all invited. Okay. You're all invited to come be with us. It's an amazing community. It's how Eric and I have been, connected, and so many amazing, brilliant people that are devoted and committed. And even if they don't know in the beginning, like, okay, what is that? It will be revealed. It will come to you as you plug in and show up. So come to the challenge that's happening. We'll drop the link, niurkainc.com. niurkainc.com/manifest.
I'm excited. I really am grateful for you. I have to say, you are, a living, breathing miracle. And I just want to say it's definitely a great way, everything that, is going on, and us to reconnect and really bring, this massive intention and velocity out into the world, and bringing you bring more of your essence. I think that this is really powerful, and I'm excited to just see where this goes and how we continue to flourish, because we're in at least for myself, I'm in a really excited, grounded way, ready to level up in so many different ways. It's fascinating what has happened over the last few years. So it's actually the perfect timing, that it really, like, we've called each other back into each other's worlds. And so I'm excited. I'm just excited because the universe is really so beautifully planning things that it's like blows my mind. Every single day there's like new amazing things that happen. So
Allow yourself to be blown away. Allow yourself, for everyone, like live in the miracle, live in the realm of possibilities. And of course we take action. Of course there's clear intention, there's action, there's strategies, there's techniques, there's all of this. And there's also, I will share with you, some of my greatest successes have come from being open to miracles. Way more than some of my, there's been a lot of hard work too behind the scenes. So there's been that. And often breakthroughs happen through grace, in addition to that work that you're putting in. So open yourself to the grace. And Eric, I'm so proud of you. Okay. I'm proud of you living in what I can see, hear, and feel is your unique expression. That's so authentic for you, to witness, to be the witness and to be part of your empowered and inspired evolution, which is continual because it's infinite for all of us. So it's a joy. It's an honor. It brings just happiness into my heart in a way that is so pure and so powerful. And thank you for putting this all together so we could share this love, this light, this divine presence and energy with everyone, and know that you have a gift. Okay. That's my final thought for you. You have a gift. There's something unique about you. Allow yourself to be served. Okay. Allow yourself so that you tap into that height, vision, purpose, highest identity, and that you fulfill your highest destiny. Okay. So much love. And I'm going to see you next week. I'm going to see you next week.
I'm going to see you next week. Before you go, I have a last question. If you had 3 days left to live, what would you do?
Oh my goodness. Probably for half. You know what's so cool is I feel so ready at any moment to be complete with this expression of life. So there isn't any specific thing that I would need to do that I haven't already done per se, because I feel ready at any time, and that's a blessing. So if I did know I had 3 days, though, if I got the text and God's going, hey, you got 3 days, I would just reach out to the people that I love, which they already know that I love them, and I'd be fully present with them. And then I would likely, for that last 24 hours, just sit in meditation, in nature, in silence. So it would be about the people in my life, and in the presence of the divine. So that's a great question.
I love it. I love it. I love you. You're amazing. I really admire and respect you, and I'm excited just like to be back in really strong connection again. Yeah, you're very meaningful in so many ways, and it's been just great to express what I needed to express in the world and feel what I needed to feel by myself, kind of like go and navigate, and then really come back with this certainty. It's everything I needed and more, and now I'm ready, like, wow.
See, that's powerful when we say I'm ready. I love that. See, I love your question. I wasn't expecting that question. Such a great question. And I think that if people think to themselves, oh my gosh, I have to do all these things before I die, that's a wake-up call right there. You don't want to have that call of, I got 3 days and oh my gosh, I have to do these things I haven't done. You want to live in a world where you're living that right now, and you're ready. Like you said, you're ready at any time. You're ready at any time. So it's my joy. It's my honor to be here with you. Keep shining your brilliance, shining your light, bringing your gifts into the world, uplifting everyone around you, being the beacon of infinite possibilities that I know that you are. And I can't wait to be in your presence again soon. And I love you all who are watching. I'm going to intend to see you. Big love, big blessings.
Hey everyone, and thank you so much for listening to the Resilient Minds. I hope you enjoyed the show. Please make sure to go comment and like and follow us on iTunes or Spotify, and please make sure that if you really love this, to share this episode, and make sure that you're inviting all your friends to like it as we continue to unfold what the beauty of our minds does. More importantly, how powerful our heart level of intelligence can be when we combine our heart and our brain together. And more importantly, check out the alignment course that I've created. It's seriously there for you to take advantage of at www.ericbalance.com/alignment. See you on the next show.